Okay, baby, we're here once again. We're going to see a concert. This time it's called Simon and Schuster.
Yes, you're right. Or it might be Simon and Garfunkel.
Are you sure it's not Simon and Simon? I thought that's what you were going to say next. That's the next script part.
Oh, sorry. I didn't get the edits.
Pardon me. Yeah, we're going to see Simon and Garfunkel today, this afternoon at 3 o'clock. And what are you expecting to see from this performance?
Well, I hope it's not too painful. But it's a cover band, so it should be good.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too. Actually, I think they travel around the world, don't they?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I heard. So it's a stage show, I believe. So it should be interesting. I'm really looking forward to hearing it. And I hope that it's good. I heard that they were here last year, so it was very well received, I understand.
Well, if it's a traveling troupe, I'm sure Shamus will have the details.
Oh, I've got to leave some space there. There we go. There we go, Bean Counter. Okay, folks, now you can just look in the top right there and take care.
We cannot turn the job over to anyone else. If the United States fails, then the whole cause of freedom fails.
Willie Mays is looking for his 534th home run. A telling demonstration of Castro's sway.
Is an amazing new wireless wizard remote control.
You guessed it, the Beatles. Lured in by telescopic sights keeps our forces pinned down.
Press down the center of the seal and lift a little at one
All steps for man.
An electric sitar. Joe Namath has 3 passes intercepted.
From another camera, the motion is slow, as Jack Rubenstein takes the law under himself.
You're out if you're not in a beam. The recurring theme of which is love one another.
Set the flag up now. You can see the third strike.
Songs in American popular music. Ladies and gentlemen, Simon and Garfunkel.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, beneath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound
Thank you so much, and welcome to the Simon and Garfunkel story, where today we will be telling the story and singing the songs of Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel.
Now, to begin with, we're going back to the start of their story, which begins in Queens, New York, 1941. Paul and Art were born in the same year, only a few weeks apart and only a few blocks away. They attended the same school and met while performing in their school play, Alice in Wonderland. Paul was the White Rabbit, and Art was, of course, the Cheshire Cat. They became best friends and discovered something together that they both loved, and that love was music.
That's right. More than any other kind of music, the two of them were just crazy about rock and roll, like most teenagers were in the late 50s, and the pair of them would spend hours together listening to records by their favorite rock and roll artists like Little Richard and Elvis Presley, and their all-time favorite, which was the Everly Brothers.
In fact, they loved the Everly Brothers so much that before they were Simon and Garfunkel, they started off their musical career as a fairly successful rock and roll double act known as Tom and Jerry. And this was their biggest hit, a song called Hey Schoolgirl.
And now, Hey Schoolgirl was released amidst the chaos of late 50s rock and roll music, right? So, in that very spirit, we would like to invite each and every one of you to join us with some good old-fashioned audience participation. Oh, you sound thrilled about it, folks. It'll be easy. All you gotta do is just clap along with our drummer back here, who is Billy Harrington. Show him how it's done, Bill.
Babaluchi Bob, you're mine. Say, oh, Babaluchi Bob, you're mine. Hey, schoolgirl in the second row. Teacher's looking over, so I gotta listen my way down low. Say, oh, Babaluchi Bob, let's meet after school at 3. She said, hey, baby, just one thing more for my school is over at 4:30. Maybe when we're older, then we can dance. Let's wait. Hey, schoolgirl in the second row. Teacher's looking over, so I gotta whisper way down low. Say, oh, my Babaluchi Bob, let's meet after school at 3. She said, hey, babe, I got a lot to do. It takes me hours till my homework's through. Someday we'll be steady, so don't you fret then. Not yet. Hey, schoolgirl in the second row. Teacher's looking over, so I gotta whisper way down low. They say, oh, my Babaluchi Bob, let's meet after school at 3. Well, then she turned around to me like a leaving her eye. She said, I'm sorry if I passed you by. I'm gonna skim my homework, gonna cut my class. Bug out of here real fast. Hey, schoolgirl in the second row. And now we're going steady through the words that I want you to know. But I said, oh, my Babaluchi Bob, you're mine. I knew it all the time. Oh, my Babaluchi Bob, you're mine. Oh, my Babaluchi Bob, you're mine. Oh, my Babaluchi Bob, you're mine. Oh, my Babaluchi Bob, you're mine.
Thank you so much. That's a fun song, right? I hope that all of you enjoyed that one, because not a lot of other people did. Like when it first came out, you know, they thought it was going to be a big hit for them, but after about a year of trying it out as Tom and Jerry, they decided to throw in the towel and just go back to high school.
During the early 60s, the mood across America was changing, and the tide was running strongly in the favor of the youth. Social turbulence at home and the widely reported conflict in Vietnam gave rise to more emotional
and intellectual songwriting, with a young scruffy singer claiming that the times they are a-changin' and a hard rain's gonna fall. Well, Paul and Artie shared a passion for this growing trend in folk music, which was sweeping across America at the time, and decided to sing together again, but this time using their real names, Simon and Garfunkel. In the fall of '64, they released the album Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m. They were performing around the folk clubs of Greenwich Village, New York City, as a duo, just one guitar and two voices singing in harmony.
I can hear the soft breathing of the girl that I love as she lies here beside me, asleep with the night. And her hair in a fine mist floats on my pillow, reflecting the glow of the winter moonlight. She is soft, she is warm, but my heart remains heavy, and I watch as her breaths gently rise, gently fall. For I know with the first light of dawn I'll be leaving, and tonight will be all I have left to recall. Oh, what have I done? Why have I done it? I've committed a crime, broken the law. For $25 in pieces of silver, I held up and robbed a hard liquor store. My life seems unreal, my crime an illusion, a scene badly written in which I must play. Yet I know as I gaze at my young love beside me, the morning is just a few hours away.
The city now doth like a garment wear the beauty of the morning. London, all bright and glittering in the smokeless air and reflecting, shining in the clean waters of the Thames. The United Kingdom. Gone is the pre-war smoke and grime and replaced by employment, contemporary fashions, and opportunities for the youth.
Well, their first album as Simon and Garfunkel, Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m., while it later went on to solidify its place in the canon of classic folk music, at the time that it was released, it didn't really get the attention it deserved, and shortly after, inspired by the folk music that was coming out of England, Paul Simon followed that sound, and he moved to England, where he would tour as a solo artist in little bars and folk clubs all around the country. And in 1965, he'd written enough solo material that he was ready to head into the studio in London, where he would record his very first solo album, which he called the Paul Simon Songbook. And it was also around this time that Paul met and fell in love with a young girl from England, a girl whose name was Kathy Chitty. And while we, as fans of Paul's and amateur historians ourselves, can deduce that this next song was probably written for Kathy, there is no way to 100% confirm or deny that as being a fact, because Paul himself has never officially come out and made that claim known to be true or untrue. So it's really just speculation, but But the song is called Kathy's Song, so. Probably about right.
I hear the drizzle of the rain, like a memory it falls, soft and warm, continuing, tapping on my roof and walls. And from the shelter of my mind, through the window of my eyes, I gaze beyond the rain-drenched streets to England, where my heart lies. My mind's distracted and diffused. My thoughts are many miles away. They lie with you when you're asleep, and kiss you when you start your day. And the song I was writing is left undone. I don't know why I spend my time writing songs I can't believe, with words that tear and strain to rhyme. And so you see, I have come to doubt all that I once held as true. I stand alone without beliefs. The only truth I know is you. And as I watch the drops of rain weave their weary paths and I know that I am like the rain. There but for the grace of you go I.
While Paul is living over in England, a very little known radio DJ down in Florida is starting to give their song, The Sound of Silence, some serious airtime. He's playing it on the radio so much that eventually it climbs up to #1 in the US charts. So now Paul receives a very exciting and slightly confusing phone call from Columbia Records telling him that he's got a #1 hit on his hands for a song that came out the year before, and he'd better get his little butt back to the States quick and make another album with that little friend of his. So he's got a big decision to make now. Is he going to remain over in England and continue on as a solo act, or will he return home, start up the duo with his friend Art for what would now be the third try?
A winter's day in a deep and dark December, I am alone, gazing from my window to the streets below, on a freshly fallen silent shroud of snow. fortress deep and mighty that none may penetrate. I have no need of friendship. Friendship causes pain. It's laughter and it's loving I disdain. I am a rock. I am an island. Don't talk of love. Well, I've heard the word before. It's sleeping in my memory. I won't disturb the slumber of feelings that have died. If I never loved, I never would have cried. I am a rock. I am an island. I have my books and my poetry to protect me. I am shielded in my armor, hiding in my room, safe within my womb. I touch no one and no one touches me. I am a rock. I am an island, and a rock feels no pain, and an island never cries. On the bass, that's Jay Hemphill. On the drums, that's Billy Harrington. On the keyboards, Mark Incabo. And on electric guitar, that's Michael Harrington. Bad news, bad news. I heard you're packing to leave. Come on, running right over. I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. Oh, baby, baby, you must be out of your mind. Do you know what you're kicking away? Got a groovy thing going, baby. Got a groovy thing. I never done you no wrong. Never hit you when you're down. Always give you good love, yeah. I never ran around. I never ran around. Oh, baby, baby, you must be out of your mind. Do you know what you're kicking away? Got a groovy thing going, baby. Got a groovy thing. There's something you ought to know if you're fixing to go. I can't make it without you. No, 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 no. Oh, baby, baby, you must be out of your mind. Do you know what you're kicking away? Got a groovy thing going, baby. Got a groovy thing. Thing going, baby. We got a groovy thing. We got a groovy thing going, baby. We got a groovy thing. Doing songs from the album Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme, which was a part of the soundtrack of The Summer of Love in 1967, and went on to sell over 1
million records. Yeah, that's right. Now, it was at this time that Simon and Garfunkel were on their way to giving themselves a real name within the folk and rock scenes. See, they were not only touring in America, but all over the world. And the sheer volume of touring and recording and spending all of their time together meant that they were working together more and more. And spending time as best friends less and less. What a dream I had, dressed in organdy, clothed in crinoline of smoky burgundy, softer than the rain. I wandered empty streets now, past the shop displays. I heard cathedral bells dripping down the alleyways as I walked on. And when you ran to me, your cheeks flushed with the night. We walked on frosted fields of juniper and lamplight. I held your And when I woke and felt you warm and near, I kissed your honey hair with my grateful tears. Oh, I love you, girl. Oh, I love you. I'm sitting in a railway station, got a ticket for my destination. On a tour of one night stands, my suitcase and guitar in hand. Every stop is neatly planned for a poet and a one-man band. Homeward bound, I wish I was. Homeward bound, home where my thoughts escaping, home where my music's playing, home where my love lies waiting silently for me. Every day is an endless stream of cigarettes this next song is based on an old English folk song, all the way from the UK. This is Scarborough Fair.
Wow.
Parsley, sage, rosemary, and feel at home. And here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. Jesus loves you more than you will know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. God bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hiding in a hiding place where no one ever goes. In your pantry with your cupcakes. It's a little secret, just the Robinsons affair. Most of all, you've got to hide it from the kids. Cuckoo, you, Mrs. Robinson. Jesus loves you more than you will know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. God bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Sitting on the sofa on a Sunday afternoon. Going to the candidates' debates. Laugh about it, shout about it when you've got to choose. Every way you look at this, you lose. Where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio? Our nation turns its lonely eyes to you. Woo, woo, woo. What's that you say, Mrs. Robinson? Junker Joe has left and gone away. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
How's everybody feeling out there? All right, so that song, Mrs. Robinson, was featured in the Hollywood smash hit movie The Graduate in 1968. And it was also featured on Simon & Garfunkel's album that they put out in 1968. The album was called Bookends. And now, this song was the very first song to earn the pair a Grammy Award, taking home Record of the Year in 1968, and beating out a very popular song which was nominated for that same award that year. It won over a little song called Hey Jude. Sounds like a lot of us in this room have heard of Hey Jude. Hey Jude, of course, being a song by the is by the Eagles. Yes, the Eagles, of course. Thank you. Wow, great part there. We're gonna do another song from Bookends now, and this next song we're going to do is called "A Hazy Shade of Winter." Wow.
I was so hard to please. I look around, leaves are brown, and the sky is a hazy shade of winter. In a Salvation Army band, down by the riverside, there's bound to be a better ride than what you had planned. Carry your cup in your hand and look around. Brown now, and the sky is a hazy shade of winter. Hang on to your hopes, my friends. That's an easy thing to say, but if your hopes should pass away, then simply pretend that you can build them again. Look around, the grass is high, the fields are ripe. It's the springtime of my life. The seasons change with their scenery. Weaving time in a tapestry. Won't you stop and remember me? And it could be your time. Funny how my memory skips while looking over manuscripts of unpublished rhyme. Drinking my vodka and lime. Now look around, these are brown.
Friends was their 4th album and the first to go platinum. Now this next song is track 3 off the album and documents a story that happened between Paul Simon and his then girlfriend Kathy Chitty as they traveled around all across the map on Greyhound buses.
Some real estate here in my bag. Ooh. So we bought a pack of cigarettes and Mrs. Wagner pies and walked off to look for America. Kathy, I said as we boarded a Greyhound in Pittsburgh. Michigan seems like a dream to me now. It took me 4 days to hitchhike from Saginaw. I've come to look for America. Laughing on us, playing games with the faces. She said the man in the gabardine suit was a spy. I said be careful, his bow tie is really a camera. Toss me a cigarette, I think there's one in my raincoat. We smoked the last one an hour ago. Ooh. So I looked at the scenery. She read her magazine, and the moon rose over an open field. Kathy, I'm
first time that due to constant touring and recording, Paul and Art's relationship was stretched to near breaking point. And it was only made worse by Art's interest in movies and acting. However, they went into the studio to create what would eventually become their biggest masterpiece, their album, Bridge Over Troubled Water.
Yes. We are going to do some songs from that wonderful album now, starting with this next one. And I'm going to tell you a little story about this next song before I tell you what it is. So, the next song that we're going to do was written and recorded in Los Angeles in 1969, where they had relocated to, because Art was shooting the movie Catch-22 out in Hollywood. And they had a few people over one night at their apartment. Paul's brother was in town. And they started to bang around on the table and slap their legs a little bit and hit some pots and pans to come up with this little rhythmic pattern they were getting into, you know, as I'm sure that all of you do when you got family in town, right? It's just what people do. So they came up with a rhythmic pattern that they actually really liked, so they busted out their old Sony recorder so that they could remember the rhythm for the following day when they went to the recording studio. But they didn't really want to use the Sony recorder for anything else other than to just preserve the memory. And then when they got to the studio, they were going to recreate it with more expensive microphones and real percussion instruments instead of just banging around on stuff they had at the house. But when they got to the studio the next day, they were trying to come up with this new sound, and they couldn't come up with something that they liked better than what was coming off of their Sony recorder machine. So they said, why don't we just use that? Let's just take the sound off of our household tape recorder, no big deal. So they put that on the track. Not just as a placeholder, but they really meant for it to stay there. And it made it all the way to the final mix of the song. It ended up on the record. And it became a very famous song that I bet all of you in this room have heard.
And we thought that we could do one better. We thought that we could get a room full of people here in Niagara Falls, and we thought that y'all could be that rhythm track. How does that sound? You sound pumped. Don't worry, it's not hard. You just gotta follow along with Jay here. Come on, Jay.
I was thinking, this whole tour you've been following along with me. Let me hear your favorite rhythmic pattern. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Yeah!
I like it.
Here's mine.
I call it the Canadian crossword.
Tell me what you're coming for, boy. You better get your bags and flee. You're a trouble boy and now you're headed into war. It's the same old story. Yeah. Everywhere I go, I get slandered. Bible, I hear words I've never heard in the Bible. And I'm one step ahead of the shoe shine, 2 steps away from the county line. I'm just trying to keep my customers satisfied, satisfied. Oh, 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 yes, the same old story. Everywhere I go, I get slandered. Bible, I hear words I've never heard in the Bible. And I'm one step ahead of the shoe shine, 2 steps away from the county line. I'm just trying to keep my customers satisfied, satisfied. Everywhere I go, I get slandered. Bible, I hear words I never heard in the Bible. And I'm so tired. Yes, I'm so tired. I'm just trying to keep my customers satisfied, satisfied.
Their 5th studio album. It was released in the winter of 1970, and it sold more copies than any other album did that year. It did the same thing in 1971, as a matter of fact. Outsold every other album on the market. And in 1972, guess what? It did the same thing. It was the best-selling album 3 years in a row.
Wow.
And what's more than that is at the time that it was released, which once again, winter of 1970, right? Bridge Over Troubled Water made recorded music history, and it outsold every other record that had been released before it. It became the greatest selling album of all time in 1970. Yeah, that's right. The two of them were at the height of their fame.
Sadly, it was in 1970, just after the release of their most groundbreaking album, that Simon and Garfunkel decided to split up. Why? Well, there are lots of reasons. Paul and Art were best friends from school, and they had a roller coaster of a relationship. But the exhaustion that followed the massive success of Bridge Over Troubled Water made them feel as if they were moving in different directions and could no longer work together. So Paul Simon wrote this next song directly to his good friend Art Garfunkel, with a nod to their early days as Tom and Jerry.
Catch you playing right on time. I know your part'll go fine. Fly down to Mexico. Do-do-do, and here I am, the only living boy in New York. get the news I need from the weather report. Oh, I can gather all the news I need from the weather report. Hey, I've got nothing to do today but smile, do, and here I am, only living boy in New York. But half of the time we're gone, we don't know when, we don't know where. Catch you playing right all time. I know that you've been eager to fly now. Hey, let your honesty shine, shine, shine now. You do, like it shines on me. Only living boy in New York. Only living boy in New York.
when Simon and Garfunkel used to perform live with one another, they would often close with a song by one of their all-time favorite recording artists, the Everly Brothers. So we are going to close now with that very same song, but before we do, I just want to take a moment to say on behalf of myself and everyone else with whom I am fortunate enough to share this stage, thank you so much for coming out to see the show today, y'all. Thank you so much, y'all. It's been a fantastic audience, and we hope that you've enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed doing it for you. Really, thank you so much.
Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye, happiness. Hello, loneliness. I think I'm gonna cry. Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye, sweet caress. Hello, emptiness. I feel like I could die. Bye-bye, my love, goodbye. There goes my baby with someone new. She sure looks happy, I sure am blue. She was my baby till he stepped in. Goodbye to romance that might have been. Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye, happiness. Hello, loneliness. I think I'm gonna cry. Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye, sweet caress. Hello, emptiness. I feel like I could die. Bye-bye, my love, goodbye. I'm through with romance. I'm through with love. I'm through with the counting the stars above. And here's the reason why I'm so free. My loving baby is through with me. Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye, happiness. Hello, loneliness. I think I'm gonna cry. Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye, sweet caress. Hello, emptiness. I feel like I could die. Bye-bye, my love, goodbye. Bye-bye, my love, goodbye. Bye-bye, my love, goodbye. When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side. Oh, when times get rough,
when darkness comes and pain is all around, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me sail on, silver girl, sail on by. Your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on their way. See how they shine. Oh, if you need a friend, I'm sailing right behind, like a bridge over troubled water. I will ease your mind, like a bridge over troubled water. I will ease your all the way from Brooklyn, New York, folks. That's Brendan Jacob Smith. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Canada. And y'all, please keep it up on my left, all the way from Roosevelt Island, New York City. Yes, that's a real place. And he happens to be my best friend since I was 14 years old. That is not a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jonah Bobo! Thank you so much, folks. Thank you so much. And please allow me to reintroduce this unbelievable band we got behind us and show them some love as well. On the lead guitar over there, that's Mr. Michael Harrington. Michael Harrington, folks. On the bass guitar, Mr. Jay Hemphill. On the drum set, Mr. Billy Harrington. Billy Harrington, folks. And on keyboards and percussion, our fearless leader and my personal savior, Mr. Mark Incabo, folks. Mark Incabo. Wow. Thank you so much for being here, all y'all. So we've got 7 more shows here this weekend. We got 2 tomorrow, 1 Friday, 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday. So if you know anyone else in the area who wants to hear some Simon and Garfunkel, please send them our way. We'd love to have them. And other than that, you want to ask them? Well, do you want to tell a story about how we met first?
I don't think we have time, brother. We gotta get out of here. How would y'all like to hear one more song?
I think I know the one. I am just a poor boy for my story seldom told. I have squandered my existence for a pocket full of mumbles such are promises.
just still the man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest. When I left my home and my family, I was no more than a boy in the company of strangers on the quiet of the railway station, running scared, laying low, seeking out the four quarters where the ragged people go, looking for the places only they would know. La la la. Boxer and a fire.